Hi, everybody. Welcome to the June 2022 edition of Tea and Tarot. And we are so lucky tonight to have Nancy Antenucci, who is the author of Tarot Rituals, a beautiful new book just out this year. She is a creatrix of ceremony, ideas, and experiences for the tarot lover. She is going to tonight talk with us about the power of ritual and tarot together, especially in these times that we find ourselves. One of our key questions will be, how can tarot best support your vision and compassion for yourself and others? We'll be working with the quadrinity and a variation on the world ritual from her new book. And you'll definitely want to have your deck with you tonight. So if you don't have it, make sure you go and grab it. She's also suggested that if we want, we could have a candle or a candle for each of the directions. Nooch is a seasoned tarot reader as well as a teacher of visionary strategies. Her innovative take on tarot makes her a highly sought after teacher. Her first book, Psychic Tarot, is a culmination of her teaching and mentoring, her practical know-how, and her unending passion for tarot. Nooch is the founder of the Minnesota Twin Cities Tarot Collective, which produces the annual North Star Tarot Conference. And I'm going to actually just grab the link for betweenworlds.us and put it into the chat window here. And for those watching this on the recording later, it will be in the comments underneath the video so that you can learn more about Nooch and her fantastic work and this wonderful event. Nancy, thank you so much for being with us. Go ahead and take it
Absolutely.
from here.
Well, it was a special honor to be asked by you, because there was I kind of fallen off, but there were times when I really followed your an amazing everyday spiritual practice, and it just happened to hit me whenever I was doing accounting or working on my bank book or something. So I thought, I don't know, I think that's kind of perfect music to chant. And oh, what does the card say today? So it's like, thank you. It's and I know that I'm surrounded really by people that really, are trying to stay in a spiritual zone. We know we're spirits and we're having a human experience. And there's a reason why we're here now. There's a reason why we have this specific body. There's a reason why we have this specific creative DNA. And I just am honored by even just being with those of you that, especially those of you that have been practicing or praying or meditating or searching or reading or just trying to open up one way or the other, just trying to open up over most of your adult life, or even if you've just jumped into the pool. It's because to me, that I think that the impetus of writing the book was really to help anyone who is just venturing out to teaching themselves, that really want. It wasn't designed for a teacher, but I realized after the book was done that that's actually was my secret intention, was to help people feel comfortable enough to not be the expert of tarot, but to feel safe and grounded enough to lead people in tarot, whatever that is, because I think we have a signal. I think we have a walkie-talkie that no one else has. This is like a major sacred walkie-talkie with Goddess, and it's like, well, how do we spread that out? How do we find variation of it? How do we storytell with it? How do we connect people with it? And especially with the world events lately, I think our local magic has to get stronger. What we do locally. So even just if it's just your group of people, or if you go to the park and and someone even just sees you reading cards, it's just, our presence is everything now, in terms of not just even visibility, but a vulnerability of sharing the tool, whatever that is. One of the movements that's really surprised me a lot are libraries. I mean, libraries are really looking for a lot of libraries. I don't know if all around the country, but they're really wanting tarot people to come in and talk about maybe the history of tarot or the art of it, but it's just such a perfect storytelling vehicle, that I think that it's catching fire. It's really catching fire. So, is there anything else I wanted to say about that? And what surprised me about reading or writing after this book was done was that I realized I actually am not a tarot reader who reads energy. I'm actually an energy reader who chooses tarot. So I was keeping myself in a nice little boat, now, and now I'm playing with platonic crystals, and I've been helping loved ones pass over left and right, pets, sister-in-laws, parents are coming down the track. So it's just, how do I stay afloat? How do I not get overwhelmed by the sadness or the fear of I hope none of you mind me saying this, the direction that our country might be going in, is just, how do we stay light? How do we stay bright? And what keeps us sane? And I'm not saying tarot keeps me sane. I'm saying tarot kind of bitch slaps me into sanity. It usually, I don't often go to tarot for solace. I really go for, am I on the right track? Where are we going here? And I just really, really want clear direction, unless there's no clear direction. Like, for instance, when my book came out, I thought, well, how is the book influencing people? And really the response was, that's none of your business. I was like, okay, well then, who is the book for? And pretty much God has said, it was for you, and so then I started thinking, oh, wait a minute, I could make online courses from this. So it's like, it was kind of a bitch slap, but I'm an Aries, so I have an ego the size of the top floor of my house. So I love when Goddess does that with me. That's a relationship she and I have. Except, well, not me and Kuan Yin. That's different. Kuan's always, use your library voice, please. And I was like, and I didn't say anything yet. So yeah, she's helpful in kind of, we just we're nice and smooth and quiet, please. So I just wondered, just raise a hands, how many of you do a card a day in the morning? Well, that's actually a lot. Okay. Just, if you feel comfortable talking, or to unmute yourself. I don't know how we should do this in terms of hands or whatever, but how has that practice changed for you over time? Like, do you feel like, how does that work for you? Like, so for instance, for me, I might even forget the card I picked that day, unless something weird happens. And when something funky happens, then all of a sudden it's like, what card did I pick this morning? It's like all of a sudden it becomes a really valuable road post. But I didn't even remember what it was, 10 minutes earlier. But tell me some of your experiences with the card of the day, and maybe how that practice is deepening, or maybe even getting boring, or.
Let's go ahead and yeah, have some hands. I see Ellen Lorenzi Prince. Let's have her start. Ellen, go right ahead.
What's changed for me with the card of the day, which I've been doing for a long time, has really changed recently, like in the past couple years since the pandemic, and especially more recently as this, these boulders of terrible things keep gaining momentum and coming along, and it really is more, it's really more do this right now. It really is not, oh, this is your guiding principle for, this general part of the day, or these energies that might come to you. They are like really direct. And I think that's been important because my brain is fried. I can't remember anything. I don't get any sleep. It's like, I have to work to keep that, center, try and keep myself, shining amidst all of this. And the tarot has just gotten very advisory to me, not just like encouraging, but just like really literal. Oh, this is your day, do this. And then when I've done it, I come back and I pick other cards and they say, okay, now you can do this, now you can relax. I mean, it's just, so that's what's been really different and really interesting to me about what's been happening with my practice. That.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you, Helen.
Thank you. Yeah, anyone else want to share how their card of the day practice works for them? I have something.
Or doesn't work.
Or doesn't, all right, or doesn't. Give a little wave if you'd like to share something. While you think about it, I'll share. I have, I do readings for a living. And so that's my main use of the tarot, is that it facilitates my readings that I do every day for clients. So I have very specific guidance that goes along with each card in my understanding of a card's meaning. So when I do my card of the day, I actually wake up and do whatever it tells me to do that day. And it can seem like it's going to be kind of out of left field, or it might not at first understand its application, but by the end of the day, it will arise, the moment will arise where I'll need to apply the wisdom of that card. And it's often, as Ellen was saying, in very literal ways, in very purposeful, physical ways. So that's how it's worked for me. And in fact, it's given me tremendous relief over the last several years to work this way. I kind of hit a point, and I think many of us do. I know I'm with a bunch of women who have seen years come and go, and I'm in my change of life. And in the hormonal surges of my change of life, there's a lot of chance that I can wander or drift or get lost in a day. But the card of the day just really brings me right back to what is the purpose and the theme of this day. And then I just look for the glimmers and I kind of just follow the glimmers. And Linda says in the comments, same for me, it's her marching orders. And I see that we have hands up from Angelia and Christina. Go ahead, Angelia. Why don't you go next, and then Christina.
Thank you. First, let me start by saying that I consider myself more of a runestone girl. I have what I call a heavy hand, so I tend to go through cards rather rapidly. But using the daily pull helps me to focus, helps me to set intentions, and it has also given me confirmation of directions and choices. And it's been a wonderful, wonderful daily practice.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And Christina, why don't you go next?
There, look, I figured out how to mute it and everything. Yes, the day of the day card of the day has been, I guess I've been doing it about 20 years now. The Voyager deck, which here's a pretty example of one today. But it's this one with and this is actually what I love is our human DNA. So that's always, so that we're all, you know, just a reminder. And so I use that. So actually I have 3 cards that I use a day, but the James Wanless who did that Voyager thing, that's his big thing. Pick a card. And I tell you, that was how I mostly first off just learned it. You know, you learn the cards that way. And now through the years, I also use I do tarot counseling. And so I use it with so I have my regular tarot card of the day, my goddess of the day, and then my fairy of the day. And that has been, well, life-saving, life-changing. I mean, you know, all of the above. And you know, and it's funny when I visit my mom in Switzerland, I'm like very good at it. I'm always there. And every time I do it, I'm like, damn, this is so good. Why don't I do this all the time? Then I come back to California and I'm like, la, 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 la. You know, it's like, damn it. No, it's so helpful. And I write myself a note in my journals every day. Make sure you do this every day. And much of the time I do. And it is, yeah, it's one of the best practices one really can have. So.
Great.
And then we have another one just down in the chat. I pull my card, says Stacy, at the beginning of the day, and I don't read it until my writing at night. So then I see how the day reflects the card, which is a very cool technique. Thank you for sharing that, Stacy. And then we have one more hand, Joanne. Why don't you go ahead and share?
Hi, I started doing the card of the day a long time ago, and how I work it is I ask the cards, show me what I need to know in both the seen and the unseen. So I'll take one from the top and one from the bottom, which is things that I might not necessarily be seeing in this realm, but the spiritual realm is helping me with, or my ancestors. And since I've connected those two together, it's really made a difference in how I look at the card, because this is telling me what I'm seeing and what I need to work on. And then that bottom piece kind of gives you a little look into that bigger picture. And that's how I've kind of changed my practice with doing the card of the day.
Excellent. Yeah, we have to keep them fresh for us. I mean, we have to pay attention. I mean, that's every once in a while I don't actually collect decks. I've told myself, no parade horses. I need farm horses. You know, and I have like 10 decks that I offer for a client to choose from, usually 5 at any given time. But every once in a while, I'll just get a different deck because I just have to stay, you know, I just need a new image. I need to not coast. So I love that, Joanne. It's like, no, I've got to find a variation of this. It keeps me engaged. That's it. So the one I wanted to talk about is.
Could I say one more thing?
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah.
Sorry, Nancy.
No, that's okay.
Yeah, I really like that dual perspective, Joanne. And you know, sometimes I do that with the cards and it's like, okay, what do I need to do? And then also, okay, what do I really need to not do? And sometimes that's really important information as well, and really can inform the to-do thing, like do this, but not like this, you know? So I just wanted to add that.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I have a friend who has on a to-do list, and the first thing she always puts on the top of the to-do list is don't do anything on the list. So she'll at least be able to cross something off. that day, whether she did something or not. Well, I got this idea of the quadrinity. I don't do immersive like the Forum or Est, or, I've never really, I don't like things where you're not allowed to leave the room because you have to pee, or, it just, after Catholic training, I think I've had enough immersive psychological taunting. But I did do this one called Hoffman Process, and it is in California and in Vermont, and then it's in different parts of the world. But you basically, for a week, you go and work on shame of your family of origin. And believe it or not, it was like a major a Demeter mystery. It turned into this like big Eleusinian ritual. And this is one of the quadrinity model is something that I learned there, which is that just playing with the 4 parts, that we are spirit, intellect, emotional self, and body, and that the 4 work together, and ideally, of course, you want spirit to kind of lead, although the spirit is usually the quietest one out of the bunch. But so I developed the spread, a quadrinity spread, only because sometimes I think it really helps, not just the card of the day, but and I don't do this every day. I do it actually, I do it when I'm feeling really confused or scattered, to be honest with you. It's like, I don't do it as a maintenance. I do it as I got to dive in here and look at some things. So why don't I lead us through the quadrinity meditation? And it's something that, or even if it's a change of month or a change of season, this might actually be a really lovely ritual to do for yourself. So you're just going to get your card, and do whatever you do to allow yourself to go into the sacred space where past, present, and future exist with your cards. And just, if I might suggest, just really letting go of the amazing amount of stress and noise level that exists. But we are going to ground that energy, transform that energy. We're not going to be burned by the fire. We're going to cook by it. We're not going to be drowned. We're going to swim in it. We're not going to be caught in a tornado. We're going to fly above it. And we're not going to die. We're just going to crawl around in dark black soil. So whatever helps you kind of ground with your cards and come into the present moment, into the room you're sitting in right now, not in the future, not in the past. And find a really comfortable place for yourself. This is about a 10-minute. I'm going to lead us through and have you pull cards, but we're not going to look at the cards until afterwards. So when you pull them, you can just pull them and put them face down, so you're not even looking at them right now. But go ahead and lay the deck. You can either hold the deck or you can fan the deck out, because you're just going to pull 4, or 5 cards. So just have some space where you can lay the cards from left to right so you don't change the sequence. And at this time, though, I do ask that as a group, not only those that are present now, but those that will join this at a later time, that we are surrounded by our divine allies and beloved ancestors in a sacred space, in a sacred time. And just breathe lower and slower, and just allow yourself lately to think about your incredible body and just how it's been working all along. This whole time we've been talking, your heart's been beaten, your digestive system might be working on something, your blood is circulating. It's just a beautiful, organic form that just works and moves and plays on its own for us. But think about especially the last few days and just what your body has kind of processed for you. And you don't actually need to know exactly what that is. You can just open that up, open your curiosity up to, body, what have you been going through lately? And just breathing and allowing your body to kind of get a sense that you are observing and listening. And during these times, body, what is it that you want or need from me? And I'm even just going to say today. So what would you want or need from me today? And just see if it responds. It may not respond. That's okay too. But it may give you a sense of something. Sometimes my body will give I want hugged, I want a bath. It'll give me very basic instructions. I don't know how your body would be talking to you. Just opening up the channel is good. But after you receive any sense or image, even if it doesn't make sense to you, go ahead and just pull one card and put it to the left, face down. This card will help enhance the message that your body needs you to hear. And then just breathing slowly, just say, thank you, body. And to see how it responds to your gratitude. Now slowly, gently shift your focus to your intellect. Now your intellect self looks exactly like you, only they don't have any emotions. They are all thought. They are all communication. They're all above your neck. Your intellect self, the one who helps you navigate through the world, goodly or badly. And just open up your observer self and say, intellects, what do you want or need from me today? See what it's been going through lately. What does it say to you, or what does it want from you? And again, it may not respond, or it could even be pissed at you. Who knows? Might not want to talk to you. You just open the door, just let your curiosity fill the room. What does your intellectual self need or want from you? And then whenever you're ready, or whenever you get a sense of a message, go ahead and pull a card that will affirm it or enhance it somehow. And just think about all the ways you communicate with people, the way you're trying to think, how you're trying to focus, what you perceive and what you do with that. And just for a minute or two, just say, thank you, intellect, for all the work it does. It does help to say it out loud. Then see how it responds to you, responds to that gratitude. Now shift to what we're going to call your emotional self. Now, your emotional self will also look like you. They just might not be the same age. So open your heart chakra, open that center of you, allow what you've been feeling, what your emotional self has been going through. Mine has been fairly numb, actually. So I would have to take mine out of some glacier. But whatever that is for you, just allow your emotional self to show you what it has been going through. If it was a little scene on a theater, what would be, how old would you be, and what are you doing? No judgment, just totally observing. And then just ask them, emotional self, what do you want or need from me today? Again, when you receive any sensation whatsoever, go ahead and pull a card for them. And just for a minute or two, if your emotional self was a different age than you, then hold them deep in your heart and start to breathe, bringing them to your current age. So actually see, like, let's say you saw yourself at 17 or 27, then just see the numbers roll by as you breathe and they become your present self. Or if you went to 72 or 80, then kind of go down in number to your current age. So you're just integrating that energy. So we're not ignoring it. We're actually wanting it to be more fully engaged with us. Okay, then with each breath this time, the breath will bring a very vibrant color, a very specific color that will be rejuvenating for your body, your mind, and your heart. And this is your spirit. Inspire, ispire, to breathe. The breath. The breath is spirit. And let it, that beautiful color just not only fill up the outline, your body, but going beyond to that beautiful auric egg around you. And your body is within your spirit now, at least the way you're perceiving it. Breathing and asking your spirit for a message. What do I need to hear right now? What message can you give me? And again, whenever you're ready, you go ahead and pull a card. Breathing, and last but not least, you will feel the presence of your divine guide, the one that would love to step up in this moment of time. You might feel their hand on your shoulder. You won't really see them, but you'll feel them. They have your back. They're your friend. They understand what you're going through. They understand what we are going through at any time. And they also understand peace at any time. And ask your divine guide, what is it that you would need me to know right now? Or would want me to know right now? And again, whenever you're ready, just pull a card. Breathing, and just slowly go ahead and lay down the deck that you haven't used, that parts you haven't picked from. And just breathe for a moment and let yourself come back here. Now, I will, there are times when I have a client that may be like all over the map. And I found this to be really helpful to kind of lead them through this. Now, they may not get, I call a lot of, not a lot, but some of my clients from America, I don't really feel this from other countries as much, like kind of data hoarders. They just want information like crazy. And it's like, yeah, well, you're all over the map. you're totally disembodied. You're not connected. You know, I'm not judging you, but could we do another spread? And I'll do this one for them. And it really kind of lines them up. And, you know, it helps. It really helps to kind of help them walk through these parts, because for one thing, just to see yourself as this dynamic dance of selves helps. It helps. And it certainly gets them out of their heads, which is, I think, half a tarot reading is trying to just get them from 8th floor to 1st floor. So why don't we go backwards, because you have more of the memory of the guide. So go ahead and flip your last card over. And what is it that your divine ally or guide who had their hand on your shoulder or had your back, what is the card? And allow it to be any message it needs to be for you. So there's no right, there's no wrong. Just let it be what it needs to be for you. And then we're just going to go down the line here. Then the next card over from right to left was the 4th card you picked, was your own spirit, your breath, that beautiful color that filled everything. And what message is it that they have for you right now, or would want you to hear? The third one was your emotional self and how old they were, how they were working, and we integrated them into our full size, our full body. But what is it that they want or need from us today? Your emotional self. The second one is your intellect. So she looked just like you, but she's just brainiac, your organizer. What does your intellect want or need from you today? And then the first card is your body, you know, and what is it your body wants or needs from you? And go ahead and flip back. So this is just as for me, when I look at these, you know, and I do, sometimes I'll get really strong messages and it really won't matter what card I picked. The message I got was like one day that it was shocking to me because my intellect said, don't treat me like the enemy. You know, and I was like, oh, wow, I do treat you like that. And I was like, what? You know, or sometimes the body will just give me like a shape. I don't know what that means. I'm just thinking of a triangle or something. It will give a shape, you know, but somehow I feel like that's the way it wants the energy to move. So for instance, with me, my body, I'm using the Thoth deck. I got happiness, the 9 of Cups, the intellect, I got the 3 of Cups, and the emotional self, I got the Chariot. So I'm thinking, okay, hey, those look pretty strong. The messages I got from them were strong. However, my spirit gave me the 5 of Wands, which is strife in the Thoth deck. And my spirit guide gave me the 7 of Coins, which is failure. So what I would do that day then is not ignore my body, mind, or emotion, but really work on the spirit part, you know, because both the spirit messages were like, woo, 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 what are you doing? And it's like, oh, it probably would help if I got back into my meditation practice, which has fallen off the wagon. So that's the first thing that jumped up at me was like, you know I'm kind of working on a half well. I know that, you know, but I feel like the cards were like, or the messages from them were like, honey, you need us to draw a picture? Because we just did. So is there any let's just take two people. Was there any surprise there, or what surprised you about that, or what was an interesting connect the dots? Does anything jump out?
Go ahead and give a little wave if you'd like to bring yourself off mute and share. Yeah, go ahead, Violet.
Yes, my body was the Queen of Swords upright. And that really spoke to me because I just started a new workout regimen and I just joined, my husband and I just joined a gym last week and we worked out and we did 4 or 5 days last week. And today, what my spirit was telling me was to rest. I mean, that's what I felt in meditation. And when I pulled that last and saw the Queen of Swords, I thought, I've used the words chisel and cut and things like that to describe what I'm trying to accomplish here. And that's with the body. Now, with what was the second one?
The intellect.
Intellect was Wheel of Fortune upright. And that very much makes sense, because that means that things could go either way, depending on the attitude that you bring forth with it. And I know it typically means textbooky. It's kind of, about wealth and abundance, and it can be. But, also at the same event, it's a card to me that means that, you have control. And that, depending on how you perceive things, you can make better of it and make abundance for yourself. But, and I'm self-employed. So if I don't go out and work, I don't get paid. So I have to turn that wheel in that direction. So that meant something to me there, with intellect.
Well, Violet, when you were doing the meditation with your mind, with your intellect, what did it show you before it responded or before you pulled a card? Do you remember what it was going through?
It was mainly going through, I was mainly thinking of colors and I know that sounds very vague.
No, colors is huge. I think
Yeah.
it's a huge way of reading energy.
Yeah. And mainly, right now with midsummer, I've been in the garden a lot. I've been doing a lot of work outside, and I think with the intellect, I was just thinking about also progressing with studies that I'm doing right now currently, with a spiritual teacher that I am in a spiritual group that I've been working with aside of with Yesha too. I'm looking forward to some classes that I'm going to be doing. And I mean, I know that sounds like I'm just using my but that's been on my mind. And
Absolutely.
those colors are red and green and black. And red especially stands out to me right now with my intellect because I have been very passionate about the things that are going on right now, in federal legislation. And we all know what we're talking about here. So I think that's what was going through my mind there, was that. And maybe we do turn the wheel to that, because I think it all begins with us.
Or even that the fact that you were thinking of that spiritual training and your mind was kind of going, what do I want or need from you? I want,
Yes.
I want this thing to turn. I want this.
Yes.
I'm changing, I'm shifting, I'm changing.
You said it. Absolutely. It's like a level up almost.
Yeah.
From what I've been through.
Yeah.
And then what was the next one? I've got
spirit,
it.
that your spirit.
My spirit.
Oh no, I'm sorry, emotional self.
The emotional self was the 5 of Cups.
Okay.
And that I think makes sense because It's about perceiving what you still have on hand and not crying over the spilled milk. You know, looking at what you've still got ahead of you, you know, what's behind you. There's a reason why it fell away.
Mhm.
And there's people that come and go in and out of our lives, you know, so look forward to the things that you've got and
And how
not
did
try.
your emotional being show up for you?
My emotional being, um,
How old was she?
oh, she, you know what? I'm going to tell you, I remember exactly what I pictured there. I grew up on a farm. My parents, well, my dad was a farm, but mom homesteaded. And I'll never forget when I was about 12 years old, um, dad would keep bales of hay back behind the garden. And one morning I woke up and one of the cats had had a litter of kittens, and I was 12 years old. I'll never forget that morning. And it was a fond memory. And she had the kittens hidden between two bales of hay. I know I sound like a country bumpkin, but it was a beautiful thing because I was, you know, perceiving wanting to help something that is helpless, wanting to help something or some, you know, just my love for animals.
Yeah.
You know, there were these newborn kittens, their eyes were closed, and, you know, the cat had hidden them there. And I just remember those moments. And
Wow.
those
So
are, those are,
your 12-year-old showed up,
yes.
but your tarot muse was, you know, when you pulled the card was actually reflecting maybe a sadness of your 12-year-old.
Pop.
There's your 12-year-old was like, hey, okay, I'm here now with that
Mhm.
powerlessness. Gee, I wonder what could have caused the sense of powerlessness. You know, so it's
Yes.
see, I think what we see and perceive is equal to the card that we choose. The card's not actually the final say. The card is the mirror.
Right.
So there's something about your 12-year-old sadness that you could hold today, you know, or like she's saying, let me be sad,
Yes.
or let me be in this powerlessness and say, okay, I'll be with you doing that. You know,
Yes.
I'm actually running a little short on time, so I think if it's all right with you, I think I'd like to move on to the world
Sure.
thing.
Sure.
Sorry,
Absolutely.
guys. I'm not used to timing teaching. Like it's so different with not people, you know, like with not in person. I don't know why that was such a great caliber or calculator for me, because with Zoom, man, I just like, geez, I
I
just go
know it's
over.
easy to be on with Zoom, but yes, let's keep going. And thank
Okay.
you so much, Violet, for sharing that.
Yes.
I know
Thank you,
everyone
Violet.
probably
You're
has.
welcome. You're welcome. Sorry if I got too long-winded.
No, 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 no. No, in fact, thank you for letting me, you know. So let's go
I,
ahead and now we do just need the major arcanas. So go ahead. I'll be talking while you're just pulling out your major arcanas. We're not going to use any of the minors. What I've been playing with lately with the majors and the minors is the idea of the majors being the 5-dimensional self and the minors being the 3-dimensional self. And so I often, when I'm reading for people, will just like pull 5 cards for anything they ask and put all the major arcana on the top. Because not only are those big influences for us, but that's also available energy. You know, like it's like, guys, you know, that's like having money in the bank. You know, it's like you can use that energy, especially if you're not really that pleased with how it's turning out in the day-to-day life, or not moving, or it may be stuck. I remember reading, like for instance, with a client that we did 5 cards just because she didn't really know what she wanted to look at all. And so I'll just do that to say, okay, well, where is your energy these days? And it was the devil, And I forget, I think it was something, I can't remember the other. It might have been the Wheel of Fortune. I don't remember what the other major arcana was. But the day to day were all these stuck things: Four of Pentacles, Two of Swords, five of Wands. It's just like everything, her energy was just like stuck. And that devil was just so beautiful in this, it just stuck. So I said, well, could you be more devilish? Could you, could you stop behaving? Would that help? Would you kind of like misbehave? Why do you read people's cues so well? It's making your dance boring. So we had a lot of fun with that, just how to play with, well, how do I get more energy from the devil? And it's like, well, jazz it up, sister. That might help. Or be tempting, be the tempter. You don't have to be the one who's seduced. Why do you seduce? So anyone, a cat in the neighborhood, there's all kinds of seduction powers that you can practice. So I thought, let's do like a variation of the world, because our world, yeah, the women in America our world just got fucked. Like we really need to look at this. So, and we don't have to look at this, but this is kind of a great time to do a world ritual. Is how am I working with the world? What does the world need from me? What do I need from the world? How do I dance this together? So before we go into this, though, I would love to kind of like move our energy just a little bit. So if you're able to do this, great. If not, just do it with your arms sitting down. But I would love for you to try any figure eight you want. So the figure eight shows up in the Magician and Strength card. And I'm working with this woman, and we do a lot of fascial release. We do lots of figure eights. And I'm thinking, oh, not only is it making me stronger, it's loosening up things to kind of get my creative, my blood circulating. So here, I'll show you, just even if you just stood and did a figure eight with your hips, just very gentle, like just, and kind of feel how that goes into your ankles. Or you could do a figure eight like you're carrying water, and just let it loosen those computer muscles. Or however you want to do a figure eight. How do you see a figure eight? Like I love, maybe your hands and you're just releasing your fingers. Or even just a gentle figure eight with the top of your head. And releasing your neck, releasing your shoulders. Very subtle movements. Don't do anything too jerky, or don't make your body go anywhere. You're just allowing your body to do. My friend does this thing where she holds her chest and she just does a figure eight at various heights with her other arm. And you can really feel that opening up your ribs. And breathing, relaxing. Then she switches and does the other. Joints are everything, evidently. All right, and then whenever you feel ready, just take a seat. You're going to have your major arcana in front of you.
And do they need to be in any order?
No, not, in fact, yeah, no, actually shuffle them pretty good. So they're not in an order. But as you shuffle, I just want you to bring the pros, cons, if you're worried, if you're not worried, just, just the way that you're seeing, however you define world. So I make a difference. To me, Earth is nature. To me, world is humanity. So it depends on what comes to mind when you actually are talking about world. Maybe it's that a main reality, or the matrix, or the grid, you know, however you define world. But as you shuffle the cards, just really allow yourself to just be in the flow of how you've been interacting, how you feel about the world breaking in two back from 2020. I still think that's hilarious that in 2020 is when the world broke in two. It's like, does that mean we have perfect vision? It does. It does. That's perfect vision. That we perfectly don't know what the fuck we're doing. Thank God it all fell apart. But it's like, okay, then what new worlds need to emerge now? Because we're never going to go back to where we were. So, and some of these new worlds emerging are like, really? I don't know about that. I don't think so. But we'll, you know, God has last say. So when you're done, I just want you to think, or this is a spread that Barbara Moore showed us at North Star Tarot. I have this tarot conference we do once a year. And Barbara found this spread that Rachel Pollack did in some calendar, like some Llewellyn calendar years ago. And it was like, wow, that's one hell of a spread. Why doesn't she show that? So, you know, there's a fool's journey where the three, you know, the fool is at the top and you lay down the major arcana. Again, I think Rachel, I don't know if she invented that template or taught it well, but that first, you know, goes to the fool, and then it starts with the magician, the high priestess, the hierophant, you know, so there's 3 lines of 7. And some people have named the 3 lines differently. Well, we're going to kind of do the same thing, but we're going to actually do it quickly because it's only a part of this ritual. It's not the ritual. So I just need you to lay the cards. The whole goal is to see where your world card shows up. So what you're going to do is lay, I don't know if you'd be able to see this diaphragm. That's not very good, is it? No. What you're basically going to do is pick one card face down, put it on the top. That's number 1. And then make 3 lines of 7. So you want to keep your card in the sequence that you shuffled. You're not going to pull from anywhere. You just pull from the top. And you put number 1 on the top. Then number 2 starts the first line of 7. I'm going to lay these down and then maybe 1, 2, 3. And then I'll move my camera in case any of you are like completely confused. So you're basically going to have 3 lines of 1 card on the top. So if this, so I have my 1 card on top, and then I'm lining up the 7 in the first line. I'm sorry, this top is, and I don't have a lot of space on this desk, and this is my 2nd line of 7, and then my 3rd line of 7. Does that help? Is anyone completely lost? No, you're good? Okay, so this is in the fool's journey. This is kind of your fool's journey right now. This is where you are right now. And that top card is the main aspect of where the journey that you're in right now. What you're integrating is what I believe. What you're really, where your spirit and human self are really working to integrate differently. That's that first card you pulled. That's the numero uno card. So go ahead and flip that over and see what that is. And just for your information, the next 3 lines, that first line is basic issues. The second line of 7 is internal issues. And the third one is wisdom. And then she breaks it down even further. I'm just going to give this for your information because it's fascinating. The first 2 cards of the line talk about the issues of it. So in the first line of 7 in basic issues, my first 2 cards are the issues or the challenges I'm having, or I'm sorry, just the issue, the main aspect. The 3 cards are the test. So in the middle is a test, the learning curve, the test. Number 7 is the experience, and the last card is the result. So you're getting issues. You know what, too, and I can send this spread to Yesha when we're done. I'll print it out so that it's easily seen. So what you're going to do now is flip over all your cards to see where your world card is. Is it in that basic issues? Is it internal? Is it in your wisdom? Where is it right now? And how does it compare to the journey card that you picked at the very beginning? Did anyone get the world card as the very first card? No, okay. That would have flipped me out. Okay, so go ahead and flip over your cards just to see where the world card is.
What's that second row again? What does it
This-
represent?
The second row is internal.
Internal. And
Yeah.
towards the 6, 7, 5, 6, 7, what are they?
Oh, the middle, the 3 middle cards are the test of each of the spheres.
Mhm.
So you go issues, test, experience, result for each of the lines. She did another thing about the 3 lines in that the first line could be, instead of basic issues, it just could be what we're learning. The second one, instead of internal, is how we become, what we're becoming. And the third one, instead of wisdom, it is how do we go to the next level? So if you like those sphere, that kind of template better. I kind of like those are a little more poetic, if you ask me. So the top line, what we're learning, second line, what we're becoming, third one, how do we go to the next level, going to the next level. So I got my world card is the experience card. It was number 7 in my first line, what I'm learning. So I'm learning a lot about the world right now. I'm experiencing it. I've just come out of the test, and so I'm kind of learning or seeing it different. So what were some of the spots that your world showed up?
Well, in mine, the card that the world was the number 2 position. So it was the first card in the first row.
Oh,
And
wow.
I felt like, and my journey card was the tower. And I definitely feel like, this is very consistent with my experience right now, which is that the world that I've known for my entire life is undergoing such profound and rapid changes that I barely recognize what life means as an earthling anymore. It's not an easy, I'm a Taurus, so change is like a big deal, right? And so having this kind of come up, it's like, yeah, I've been really struggling to integrate all of the rapid changes that are happening that are seriously dissolving things that I thought were stable or real.
Yeah, wonderful. Wow.
And I see that Stacy has a hand, and then Christina, maybe.
Hi, thank you so much for this. I'm new to tarot, and so my general, it's temperance, in the one position, and then I have moon, then the world in my basic issues. So
So the world is the last one in your top line?
no, it's the second one in my top line.
Oh, mine too. Oh, it's the second one from the left.
Yeah, so I have the moon, then the world, and then I end this line with the devil.
All right.
And so it's pretty amazing. I was told just try tarot, and so it's like aligned me a lot more with all my practices. It seems to have been, it's like the weaving portion.
Oh,
So it's been
wonderful.
awesome. So thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Oh, you're welcome. And then Christina?
Yeah, hi. So I got mine on the, perhaps you can see the whole little spiel here. But
Yeah.
the top one was Chariot, and then my world is the third one. So I also had mine come up pretty quick, although the excitement of the tower there. Yeah, so I can, that's interesting.
Yeah. Well, good. Well, let's jump in. Let's jump into the ritual now. And I'm just basically going to open up the 4 directions in a very simple way by actually using kind of the Rider-Waite worlds card of the angel, the ox, the eagle, and the lion. So I'm going to be calling those in, but if you prefer a different divine allies, or if you just want to call your beloved ancestors, you go right ahead. You can just use my voice in the background as a nice soundtrack. But what we're going to do, well, you can follow along, so that I don't have to tell you what we're going to do. So let's just take a moment where we really are going to use this journey card to bring a new perspective of the world. And again, not only the world, what we need from the world right now, but also what the world needs from us. Just that beautiful reciprocal dance. So I start with the power, and if you want to light your candle, that would be great anytime you want to. But as a group, with those that are with us right now and those that will be joining us, I ask for a sacred circle, and I open to the east, to air, to bright, clear thinking, to the angel, whichever angel needs to be with us, to bring clarity, perspective, freedom, breezes. Welcome, welcome, Eastern guide, guardian. And as we all face the south, the heat, the desert, the fire, the sex, the sensuality, in the distance we see a lion, perhaps Sekhmet, or a representative of courage, curiosity, and undeniable passion. We welcome the guardian of the South. We face the west. We feel the breezes coming over the ocean, the mother, the beginning of all life. And an eagle flies above looking for her food, working in tandem with the ocean. We ask for the guardians of the West to be with us, to help us flow in heart and vision. And facing the north, feeling the incredible beauty, raw wildness of this planet, her mountains, her trees. And from the forest comes the ox, sure-footed, strong, powerful. And we ask for that kind of power and connectedness to this planet, to our bodies, to each other. Welcome, Guardian of the North. And just take a moment or two and see yourself sitting in the middle, in the center of these guardians, breathing. And for a moment, allow yourself to play with the idea of being in the landscape of the card that you chose for the journey, your major journey card at the moment. Maybe even perhaps just today, but maybe not, maybe currently. So for instance, I chose the moon, so I am definitely going to transport my spirit to the moon, to be on a moonscape, to look down and see Earth. So wherever your journey card is, give yourself time to just pretend as if it was a movie, that you're the heroine in this scene, in that journey. And walking along this landscape or within this landscape, you're really drawn to a place where you're going to just sit and see something magnificent. So wherever that is, you might need to travel. Maybe if you're in the tower card, you might want to get away from all the rubble, or maybe take a seat on top of some of the rubble. Just allow yourself to play with that idea of, where am I being beckoned to witness? And then breathing as you sit, as you find that place to witness something remarkable. You will see something remarkable. And it is the world card as she wants to appear to you. It might even just be you, a giant you in the sky with robes flowing around you as you are in that perfect still point of the dance. Your magnitude, your spirit without restriction. But it may show other ways. There may be a collage of images. There may be a small vision. But the world is showing herself to you and will show herself to you. And it doesn't need to make sense. Just witness. You don't have to do anything but observe. And then in your mind's eye, or just simply putting your hands across your heart, take in the strength of this landscape, why this journey card is so applicable to you right now. It will give you its strength. You have some of this power just naturally. So take up any of it that you want. For me, from the moon, I would just love some more yin energy. I would love to feel more illuminating and soft instead of harsh. Whatever that is for you, whatever you feel that you can take in from this landscape that you will need. And then open your arms up into a wide opening position and let the world send a blessing to you. So you have the strength of this landscape, this journey card, the essence of it, but opening up and letting the world bless that, and possibly even give you a message about how to use it or what to do with it. And just breathe and gently hold any information or feelings or messages that come up. You don't have to do anything with them. Just being in the flow of them is all you really need right now. And then the vision of the world dissipates or minimizes or disappears altogether, and see yourself standing up from this landscape, going back to the place where you appeared, breathing and feeling the guardians around you in silence, but watching, helping, supporting you as spirit, as human. And we ask, or we bless the guardians that have come. The circle is now open, but not broken. And just allow yourself to kind of energetically flow back to the one who's sitting here in 2022. And you might want to leave, if you want, just leave your candle or the 2 cards out all night. Or no, you don't want to burn the candle all night, but that might be a beautiful visual memory. How are we doing? Oh, good. We have some time. So it's hard. I think one of the things I've learned from teaching, and I'm sure a lot of you have taught and have led groups and things, that it's hard for introverts to process right away. So it's, when you're asking for feedback and stuff, it's kind of hard because I don't know if introverts even enjoy processing at the moment. They're kind of like, can I just write this down and think about it for a while? So I don't want to feel like anyone's on the spot, but I would like maybe someone to talk a little bit that would consider themselves an introvert and would really just not, didn't really think they'd talk at all during this Zoom call. So yeah, I think there's about 4 or 5 of you that know exactly who you are. And I would just love for you to kind of, just jump in there and see how it feels. And all I'm asking really just maybe what did you gain? What strength did you get from your landscape, and what might have been a world vision or a message that you received? And it doesn't have to be coherent or poetic. You can just throw some mud on the wall, what you just got.
Yeah, give us a little wave. Okay, yeah, Caragwen looks like.
Hello. Well, she said introvert, and I'm like, oh, right. No, you nailed it. I love it. And what a wonderful spread. And definitely, what interests me to raise my hand the most is when you said what you said about introverts, and it's just, it takes a second to process. I am that person. It's like, I don't like to consider myself slow to process things intellectually, but I am, and it takes a second. And I've always been a little bit embarrassed and shameful of that, but that's part of the patriarchy too. So what a wonderful journey. The card that I drew that's different from the 3 or the 7 or the 3 of the 7 is a strength card, and I'm working with today the Cat Tarot deck. And it was wonderful because it's like I went on my visual journey of riding this jaguar, and being in this open field. And it wasn't the savannas, it wasn't hot and dry like Africa, but it was definitely where I was in this field was brown, but as I looked out, there were these huge green trees, and it's like there was like this sense of coolness over where it was green. So it was almost like I was like back in Georgia. I had just gone on vacation there, and Georgia is very lush and green. So it was interesting to go back to something to where I could actually feel the earth's heartbeat. There wasn't a lot of concrete around. So that was an amazing journey right there, or a place to be, and having the physical sensations. And I even had like a few smells come up. I can't remember exactly what they were, but I did. And then as my spiritual message, or the message from spirit, it was very interesting because it's like when we start to look for it, that's when it's not there. And then when we start to pull back, and then that's when it comes in. And I got this, cat is, I'm very related to cat in many different ways, but I got this gold cat that came in, and it was almost like this head of bast. And I have just been on a spiritual journey with my father's cat who just passed away. So it was more or less, I believe that the lesson and the word from spirit was to, just is like, and also it's like I had the sensation of heat, and cats love heat. So it was just to be present, but get some rest. And also, and just to stay strong, and just keep walking through, and not let, being a double Pisces, don't let a lot of things stick to me right now. And just really get some rest. And then when you ended the visualization, I came back onto my jaguar, and then came back through the portal that way. So thank you for asking. It wasn't like I had any of these visions of what's going to happen next in the world, but for me, it's just the calmness of cat, and the serenity, and the feeling of warmth, and was what I needed to be able to go back in and give myself a break.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you
Karen.
so much for asking.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll actually, when I teach a workshop, I'll actually say at the very beginning, you all know which ones of you feel very comfortable talking to people, and it's just natural. And then there's the other parts of the other ones of you that are just like, shit, I hope I don't have to talk during this and I would just really love to encourage those to talk. And if you're a real talker, just to wait. You know, it helps. Sometimes it leverages the dynamics. And anybody else want to jump in? We got time for one more. You don't have to be an introvert to answer. I'll open that up to the extroverts.
Well, I do have something that I thought was relevant. And since I had shared about having the tower card, kind of where that went was really interesting. When I went into that tower card vision, it was a lot of different kind of, you know, sort of post-apocalyptic images of buildings falling and things, rubble, etc. But it kind of came into like a focal point of what the Guanyin shrine behind my store used to look like before I cleaned it up. It was, we took 4 truckloads of junk. There were hypodermic syringes, empty beer cans, old machinery that had been dumped there, tons of garbage. 4 truckloads of garbage went to the dump. And then after that day that we took all that garbage out, somebody came and brought 2 more truckloads of garbage in the night. So the next day I had to hire the truck again, and we had to take the 2 more truckloads of garbage out. And so once we did that, then the space was fit for the statue of Guanyin. And when you asked us to bring that world card in, it was actually that what I'm supposed to do is to go into these rubble places and to bring Guanyin. And as long as I keep doing that, no matter what's happening in the world, I'm doing my job. And the satisfaction of knowing that I have a job and can do it no matter what's happening was quite illuminating. And then when you asked us to see kind of the, you know, the world and what was that larger kind of image, I saw Mount Shasta, and I felt the energy of Mount Shasta basically being like, I'm here to broadcast this light. So lift that light, presence that light in these times of shadow, and I will amplify it, which according to the Tibetan tradition, like Mount Meru was the center of the world. And this, you know, that is how I see Mount Shasta. It's like in my localized mythology, Mount Shasta is the center of my world. It's the biggest thing going on for miles around me. So just was a really interesting thing to kind of go to that rubble place and say, yep, this is exactly where I belong.
Wow. Wow, that's great. That's great. Well, we're
one very short thing, very short.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I got the devil as my journey card, and I feel like everything that's been said, everywhere we're going right now, it just seems like women really need to support each other. If there has ever been a time when we cannot do it alone and we need each other and we need to find ways to cross barriers to get there, it's right now. So thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thank you.
Well,
So yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, no, now I was just going to say, Nancy, any parting words of wisdom for us? We've enjoyed having you as a guest here so much.
Well, any parting? So I would, I just feel like tarot, I don't see tarot as a one entity or a muse at all. I see it as it's a mansion to me. That saying, there are many mansions, my father has many mansions, and it is my mansion. And I just feel like there's some possibilities with tarot that I don't know if we're actually, I feel like there's something that really wants to emerge with tarot. So however you want to share your spiritual practices or rituals with other people, in whatever way that is, I think something's happening. And I feel like we have the heart, we have the mouth of the goddess with us. So it's how do we what can we do? So when you were talking about supporting women right now, is there, and it doesn't have to be with support with tarot, although tarot is a really lovely support for women, but is there a way to dream about the world in tarot that that could shift something phenomenal? I just want, that's my parting words, I guess, is that I just think there's a lot of, I feel like tarot wants to grow in us somehow, but I don't know what it is. I just know that I can just put it out there and see, like a sandbox, just how do we play with this differently? So,
Well,
alrighty.
there's definitely appreciation in the comments. Thank you. I've greatly enjoyed being here. This was great. Thank you so much. Thanks to all. So a lot of love coming up in the comments. We'll be posting this recording in case anyone wants to go back and reflect. Nancy, once you send me that document, I'll post it into the event group and also on the app. And just everybody, thank you so much for coming tonight.
Yeah.
Nancy
Thank you.
Antenucci, thank you so much for being here. You can learn more about her at www.betweenworlds.us, her fantastic event. And we hope that this is the first, but not the last time that we get to swirl in the mystery with you.
Yeah, I would love that. And get the book. If you do
Yes.
get the book, just write a little review somewhere, because it's I think the word ritual is scaring the hell of. I think it's kind of like, I don't know what that's about. So
Yeah,
know what that's about.
we're gonna get the word out about this fantastic book, and definitely I see Linda says she loves the book, and
Oh, good.
you're
Good,
saying
good,
you're
good.
gonna definitely buy it. So thank you again, Nancy, and everybody. Have a great night. And we'll
Yeah.
be back for Tea and Tarot, fourth Sunday of the month next month. Take care. Bye.
Take care. Bye.